Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else that's here. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody to our show tonight. We're going to start off this show with the Pledge of Allegiance and the United States National Anthem. I would ask everyone at this time to please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now would you make welcome, straight from Washington, D.C., the United States Army Corps Quartet.
Yeah.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Oh yeah! Come on, folks, let them know it.
America's finest, the United States Army Barbershop Quartet, performing at the Barbershop Quartet Convention in 2015. The Barbershop Quartet Convention hosts gave us the Pledge of Allegiance, and these beautiful men from the Army Barbershop Quartet gave us the national anthem. We want to thank them all for their service. God bless you for that, gentlemen. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for your service. We want to thank all of our armed forces, whoever they might be, around the globe. Thank them for their service, and also our allied armed forces, whoever they might be. God bless you all. Thank you for your service, and may God bless you that you will be able to return home to your families after your tours of duty end. Thank you so much, gentlemen and ladies. We appreciate you so much. Folks, we have a lot to talk about, as we have talked about this before. I first want to give you an update on our friend and colleague Mary Lou. Mary Lou lives in southeastern Idaho. The other day, during the weekend, she fell on a sidewalk, broke her femur, broke her hip, and broke her collarbone. She's in the hospital. She's doing fine. The doctors performed surgery and it was successful. Mary Lou seems in good spirits. I spoke to her for about 20 minutes just a short time ago. Like I said, she seems like she's in good spirits. Julie said that we need to tell her to obey the doctors, because once she starts feeling a little better, she's going to want to get out of there and go and do her own thing. But again, she's broken her hip, she's broken her leg, she's broken her collarbone. So she's going to have a little bit of pain for a while. She's also not going to be as mobile as she used to be. So she needs to calm down, she needs to settle in and get on a schedule and rehab. That's what I think they're going to do. She asked me to call her back in the next couple of days, which I will do that to get a better update. But we love Mary Lou very much. She's a vital part of our family. She's been able to give us a lot of information over the years. She's a worldwide guru, if you know what I mean. She knows a little bit about a lot. She's a wonderful friend and a family member. We appreciate Mary Lou very much. I just want to give you guys an update on what she's doing. Sharon is in Salt Lake City. Sleeping Volcano is in Salt Lake City in the hospital there. She's having surgery there, I believe, tomorrow or Thursday. I think it's Thursday. And she still needs our prayers there. She and her husband both. They both live just outside of Denver. They're wonderful people. We have a lot of folks that we know that are part of our EMA family that have some issues, health issues and otherwise. God bless you all. May God be with you and lay his hands on your head and give you a blessing of health. We love you. Please pay attention to what your doctors are all telling you, and please return here to us again soon. We miss you and we love you very much. Richard Smith is here from Nova Scotia, Canada. Yay! Welcome, Richard. We appreciate you. We appreciate each and every one of you that are here on our chat and are watching or listening to our program here tonight. Please, folks, if you will, please give us a thumbs up before you leave tonight. Please pay attention. We're going to be talking about a lot of things besides earthquakes as well. Yes, we're going to go into earthquakes very shortly here. But please, guys, understand what's going on around you as well. Our world is not in a good situation at all. Not in the least. I want to also express our concern for our neighbors in Maui, Hawaii. The governor of Hawaii on Monday went over to New York. He flew over to New York. He spoke to the UN. He talked to him about the fire, but he called it a 17-minute fire. He lied through his teeth. Governor Josh Gangrene lied through his teeth to the UN and the people at the UN yesterday. Absolutely lied to them. He said the fire was to blame on climate change. Again, there's no such thing as climate change. Governor Gangrene is a Democrat communist. He and his three colleagues, Mayor Bisson and Police Chief John Pelletier, are in bed together. They will never, I don't believe they will ever come clean. Things are happening. They don't want to tell us what is going on. Like I said, they were in a meeting last week over on Oahu, planning on what they're going to do over in West Maui and Lahaina. It's unreal. They don't give a flying rat's frosty keister about what's going to happen in Lahaina. All they care about is greed, money and greed. What can they get from it? Yesterday they finally started allowing people, residents of that area, back into their properties to go through the property where they lived. And hopefully they are going to find things. Hopefully the families will find things, and they will also find some closure in what happened. But folks, if you were on Maui or anywhere, it doesn't matter whether you were at Maui or not, but if you had been or having been a victim of a fire, a major event, and you lost everything you owned in that fire, you lost family members as well. Just because the powers that be let you into your area where your house was, where your family members lived, it's going to be a long time before you get over their loss, number one, and over the loss of everything you knew. So the people in Maui are hurting. They're hurting. The President of the United States has been giving money away hand over fist to Ukraine. Billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine. And yet, the individual resident in Maui got $700. A one-time payment of $700. And yes, there are people that raise money for those people. And yes, they're going to get some extra money here and there. But it's going to be a long time, a long drawn out effort for those people to recover. We cannot let a day go by where we don't say a prayer for the people in Maui. I'm doing my best, along with quite a few other people, to try to bring the event to a close itself and bring people responsible to justice, because I'm not going to sleep until that happens. But we can't forget the people in Maui. We also can't forget the children. Remember the children. I believe we still have over 2,024 children that have not been accommodated or accounted for. That's a lot of children. And not just that. Adults, family members, parents that were lost as a result of the fire. I am hoping that at some point in time very soon that some people will be held accountable and the politicians will not get away with what they're doing. Okay? Hurricane Heather says better days are coming. That's what I am hoping. Better days are coming. She says she has faith, and so do I. But folks, there's a lot of other things going on. First, let's go take a look at earthquakes. Okay? Folks, this earthquake here, okay? This happened yesterday. It happened yesterday. This is something that we need to pay attention to. It's a 4.1 magnitude earthquake. Where did it occur? Look where it happened at. It was over on the Juan de Fuca Fault. On the Juan de Fuca Fault. This area here is where we expect the Cascadia megathrust earthquake to hit. The same area. This was a 4.1 moderate earthquake. A 4.1 moderate earthquake. It's almost directly west of Seattle. It's almost directly west of Seattle. Seattle's just barely northeast of there. This is also just southeast of the Strait of Juan de Fuca, the Puget Sound area. Folks, there's a lot of things happening. USGS does not ever tell the truth on what's going on here. There are earthquakes all throughout this area that they almost never put up on the map. This is yesterday. Yesterday they did not even put a lot of the other earthquakes on the map either. Now, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to show you the USGS map. Okay? So I'm going to take that down. I'm going to enlarge this map and show you some earthquakes that hit today. Okay? First thing I'm going to show you, I'm going down here into the South Pacific. Okay? This is a 5.2 south of Fiji, the Fiji Islands. A 5.2 large earthquake. Now folks, normally this would not be a big deal, because this earthquake hit out in the water south of the Fiji Islands today. This is a large 5.2. Just south of there is an aftershock of a 4.3, a moderate 4.3. This is 308 miles deep. This 5.2 is 331 miles deep. The problem I have with this is the depth to the magnitude conversion chart says that we need to add a 1.06 to this earthquake because this is a deep earthquake. 630 kilometers deep, 331 miles deep. So we add a 1.06 to this quake, and this quake here, because it's so deep, it's going to propagate a 6.2, 6.3 earthquake. This 5.2 is going to propagate a 6.2, maybe a 6.3 magnitude earthquake. It could hit in this area. It could hit in this same area. It could hit down here in New Zealand. It could go down here south of New Zealand. They've been having their share of earthquakes here. Okay? Last week, we had a 5.2 magnitude earthquake right here on the South Island of New Zealand, in the mountainous region of the South Island of New Zealand. It was 200 miles plus from Christchurch. Christchurch, New Zealand is up here, as well as some other smaller towns in Christchurch here in New Zealand. The only thing they felt was rolling motion from that 5.2 earthquake. Folks, this is not going to stop. There are going to be larger earthquakes here on New Zealand as well. Just so you know, yesterday there was also another earthquake at a volcano here on New Zealand. Another earthquake at a volcano here in New Zealand. This volcano right here. Now, it was only a 4.3, a moderate 4.3, but it's at a volcano. What does that tell us? That tells us there's plenty of magma down beneath that volcano, and it's rocking the volcano right now. But again, USGS will never tell us that. They'll never tell us that. This area, this volcano, is getting hit with minor tremors and small earthquakes as we speak. Okay? Menacing Muskrat is in the chat asking, are these earthquakes connected to the Sun CMEs and Planet X? It's not so much connected with Planet X as it has been the Sun's solar flares. On Saturday, there was a moderate G2 class solar flare from the center of the Sun. It was powerful enough to hit the Earth within 24 hours after it launched from the Sun. The plasma energy from that solar flare hit the Earth within 24 hours. And it's still hitting the Earth today. Because of our magnetosphere that's around the Earth, we have a weakened magnetosphere. And because of that, these solar flares are having much more of an impact than if our magnetosphere was stronger. Because we have a weakened magnetosphere, these solar flares, this plasma radiation that is escaping from the Sun, is hitting the Earth. Hit it. Hit it. And as a result, you guys have seen up in the northern latitudes, you guys have seen these auroras. Absolutely stunning auroras. But this energy, folks, that hit the Earth has done some damage. It's heated up the plates. It's heated up the plates. What has it done? When it's heated up the plates, folks, let me show you something. All that gunk and grime, all the boulders, the sand, the gravel, the biological material that holds the plates in place, when that plasma radiation comes from the Sun and hits the Earth, it heats up the plates. And heating up the plates, it also heats up all that gunk and grime there that's been holding those plates in place. And that gunk and grime turns into an oily and greasy substance. And as a result, it allows those plates to more freely move. It allows those plates to more freely move. That's one of the reasons we had that earthquake over on the Juan de Fuca Fault. The Juan de Fuca Fault is moving. Every one of the plates around the Earth is moving. The stressed out points of the plates is where we're having the big earthquakes. That's what we're seeing here. When we have volcanoes involved, what has happened? The Sun has heated up that magma, hasn't it? That's down below that volcano or other volcanoes. It's heated up that area beneath the plates and heated up that magma, and all of a sudden what happens? We have more and more earthquakes, more and more tremors at the volcanoes as well. Okay? Yes, Planet X filters in there as well. But more than anything right now, it's the solar flares that are playing games with us. the plasma radiation. Okay? It's not good. The plasma radiation also causes problems with the animals, including humans. It can alter our thought patterns. It affects our brains and the way our bodies do things. It can cause pain in our joints, pain in our body. Scientists are only getting a glimpse right now of what that solar plasma radiation does to humans. It's never been really studied up until now. But now scientists are getting to the bottom of some of it. I don't think they're ever going to get so knowledgeable that every time one of those flares hits that they can say, this is why you're having pain here. I don't think they're going to get that way. But it's possible. Hurricane Heather's here in the chat. She says it can make us sick. And you're absolutely right. It can cause pain. It can make you irrational. Like I said, it affects our brains. It can do all kinds of things to us, and it does. Okay? I just want to make everybody aware of this. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't even realize that. Okay? I've been doing research for years about this, and I'm not an expert. I am not an expert. Yeah, they could call me an amateur scientist. Everybody does, and that's okay. I don't mind that. But what I want to do is give everybody a heads up so all of you are aware of it. Okay? It affects all of us in one way or the other. Now, folks, let's go on here. These earthquakes are real. Okay? Just north of this volcano that was hit yesterday by that earthquake, just north of there is another volcano. And again, USGS is not telling us about what's going on with this volcano. This is Taupo Lake. Taupo Lake in New Zealand. Taupo Lake in New Zealand is also a supervolcano. Taupo volcano. And it's been having its issues as well. They've had tremors, they've had minor earthquakes, and they've even had moderate earthquakes here at Taupo Lake. Today, they're not saying anything about what happened at Taupo Lake or what's happening at Taupo Lake. Not even, let me show you something. Not even USGS is saying things. But look, I want to show you something. Okay? Over on my device here, I'm going to show you an earthquake that hit on the bottom part or the southernmost part of Taupo Lake. This is a 2.68 magnitude earthquake right there on the southern portion of Taupo Lake, Taupo volcano. A 2.68 magnitude earthquake, a minor earthquake. Okay? Northwest of there, we have a 3.0, a 2.93 3.0. Okay? You'll never see that on USGS because they're not going to tell us about it. How about all these other earthquakes over here in the Catcher's Mitt? The Bay of Plenty here in New Zealand. They don't want to talk about that either. Heaven forbid they tell us about it. Over on land, here's a 2.52. Yes, we have followers of our program in New Zealand. Here's a 2.68. Over off of Gisborne, off the coast of Gisborne, New Zealand, we have a 3.22. A 3.22. Look where this earthquake is. It's on that fault, isn't it? The Southern Tongan Trench. The Southern Tongan Trench caused that 3.22 earthquake. Let's go back here to the Bay of Plenty. Plenty of earthquakes. We affectionately call the Bay of Plenty the catcher's mitt because it does look like a catcher's mitt. Okay? There's 4 earthquakes here. This is a 2.72. Okay? Just north of there, a 3.13. North of there, a 2.53, and north of there is a 3.47. Also on that other trench coming out of southern Fiji. That trench comes out of southern Fiji. Just so you know. So this is what happens here. See that large earthquake over there in the south of Fiji? The one that's going to cause a 6.2 earthquake? They're not listing any other earthquakes up there, are they? No, they're not. That 5.2 and the aftershock of 4. Folks, there's a lot going on here. And if you don't see it, you're not even going to recognize what's happening. Okay? We go west here. This is Kirikira, Solomon Islands. This is a 4.7. This is still a fairly shallow quake. It's 50 miles deep. 50 miles deep. I'm going over here to Indonesia. I'm very disappointed in USGS, as I always am. I feel like they will never ever get their acts together. Okay? They're showing this one earthquake off the coast of Sumatra. They're showing one lousy earthquake off the coast of Sumatra. This is a moderate 4.4 earthquake. A mid-range 4, okay? You're going to feel this if you're on land, but this is out in the ocean. This is over in the western Indian Ocean off the coast of Sumatra. Nobody felt this. This was just a moderate quake. The ocean water absorbed the shock waves of this quake. But the problem is this. That was not the only earthquake that hit. There's 2 other quakes here. This one is a 3.0. A 3.0 small quake. This one is just barely off the coast. Nobody felt that. I don't believe anybody may have felt that because, number one, it's a very small earthquake, 3.0. If it was felt on land, somebody might feel some movement under their feet, but that's just about all. If that was off the coast, nobody felt it. But this one here, this is in western Sumatra. This is a 2.5 minor earthquake. Minor earthquakes are usually not felt. Okay? A 2.5 minor earthquake there. Okay? USGS shows us 1, there's 3. Yesterday we told you about Semeru volcano over in Java. right here. Semeru volcano is about to erupt again. Today we have a 3.8 earthquake right there, just south of Semeru volcano. USGS doesn't show anything there. Not a thing. Look at these other earthquakes here in Indonesia. Okay? Just to tell you, a 3.3, a 3.0, another 3.3 right there. Okay? North of there in Sulawesi, Indonesia, we have a 2.9, 3.0 earthquake there. So there we have 4 3.0s here. 4 3.0s within 100 miles of each other right there. Interesting, huh? Also in the Molucas Sea here we have a 3.4. Right next to it we have another one here. This is a 3.7. Notice the increase in magnitude as we've gone north. We have 3.0s and 3.3s south of here. All of a sudden we have a 3.7 over here. Okay? Interesting, huh? It doesn't stop there. We go further north. We go further north. Let me show you something. Folks, what do we have here? Ah, jeez. Hold on a second, guys. I've got to fix this map because they stopped me from using it. Only takes a minute. I figured out what to do on these idiot people. There's a reason I'm showing you guys this. Okay? There's a very good reason. These are a large, this one here that I'm showing you here is a very large earthquake. This is in the southern part of the Philippines. The southern part of the Philippines. This is a very large 5.9, 6.0 earthquake. A 5.9, 6.0 earthquake. It was out here in the open waters of the Pacific Ocean. Okay? Nobody anywhere near it. These tiny islands here don't have anybody living on those. Those are uninhabited islands of the Philippines. The nearest island with anybody here is near Ponda Gaitan. There are small villages here, Philippine people living here along the east coast of Ponda Gaitan, Philippines. They may have felt something here. This earthquake was 145 miles northeast of Ponda Gaitan, Philippines. The ocean waters absorbed the shock waves of this quake. Notice where this quake was. Again, this earthquake was just west of this Mariana Trench. Okay? I shouldn't say Mariana Trench, I'm sorry, this is the Philippine Trench. My bad. So we had a 6.0 earthquake here. Now, this is only 56 miles deep, a fairly shallow earthquake. This one here on the north end of the Mondano, Philippines, the island of Mondano, Philippines, this is a 4.5 moderate quake here. This is also 46 miles deep. Still fairly shallow. Okay? We don't have any other earthquakes anywhere near Luzon, Philippines, which is the northern island of the Philippines, or up here near Taiwan, do we? That's interesting, because yes, we do. Yes, we do. Rapu, Philippines, we have a 3.5 earthquake. A 3.5 earthquake. Okay? It's here, down here, just south of Luzon, Philippines. Another one just directly south of Luzon is a 3.0 here. A 3.0. Out in the Pacific Ocean, just north of Luzon, Philippines, and just barely south of Taiwan, we have a 4.0 earthquake. It's a 4.0 earthquake there. So we do have seismic energy moving up this rat's nest of an earthquake superhighway, leading out of Indonesia through the Philippines up towards Taiwan. Okay? Then we go out to the east here. Out to the east. Over here. Okay? This is 21 miles east-southeast of Guam. Guam. This is on the Mariana Trench. The Mariana Trench. Southeast of the territory of Guam, which is a United States island out here. It's also very much a United States Navy base on Guam. Okay? A 4.8 earthquake here. A moderate earthquake, nowhere near land. Nobody felt it. But a 4.8 earthquake. North up here in the northern Mariana Islands here, in the Pongan region, we have a 4.6 moderate quake. But again, all of these earthquakes are shallow. This earthquake is 37 miles deep, possibly down in the asthenosphere, possibly into the asthenosphere. Now, there's two earthquakes here that we're going to take a look at in a minute, the USGS is telling us about. However, there's another earthquake over here in, I believe it's called Kyushu province of Japan. It's down here near Osaka, Japan. It's a 3.0 earthquake near Osaka, Japan. But again, USGS doesn't tell us about it, do they? This is that earthquake, Osaka, Japan. Okay? But then north of there, just off the coast of Honshu, we have a 4.8, don't we? This is also pretty shallow quake, 34 miles deep, off the coast of Honshu, a 4.8. If that had hit on land, there might have been some moderate damage to people's homes or businesses. But again, it's out in the ocean, and the ocean waters absorb the shock waves of that earthquake. North of there, this earthquake happened yesterday. It's a 4.5. A 4.5, 6 miles south of Ishimaki, Japan. 4 miles south of Ishimaki, Japan. USGS just took it just took it down. Okay? How about that? Now, I've shown you the southern part of the Pacific. Southern and southwestern parts of the Pacific and over here in the Indian Ocean. All we had in the Indian Ocean was just that earthquake just southwest of Sumatra. The only earthquakes they're reporting here is this over in Pakistan, a 4.5 moderate quake there, 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. Over here, this is Farkar, Afghanistan. Farkar, Afghanistan, a 4.2, also 26 miles deep. Look at this. Almost all of Europe they're not saying a word about. But over here in Poland, we have a 4.5 earthquake. A 4.5 earthquake. This is 3.1 miles deep in Poland. But there's also a lot of other earthquakes here as well. Remember this place over here in Turkey? Eastern Turkey near Syria here? Turkey-Syria border? Guess what? Remember that earthquake that hit here? Major earthquake here earlier this year? USGS again is not saying a word about what's going on here. Not showing any earthquakes at all. But look here. Look at all these earthquakes. Again, we've got to remember, when we have a major earthquake, it's going to cause a lot of other earthquakes after that. It's going to cause a lot of other aftershocks. And these aftershocks from a major earthquake might go on for years. We've seen that happen over in Puerto Rico, where we had an 8.0 and an 8.4. We're still getting aftershocks from that quake. The same thing here in Turkey and Syria. I'm just going to point out a couple. This is a 2.6. This is also a 2.6. We go north. This is a 2.5. So we're getting 2.5s and 2.6s throughout this region as a result of that major earthquake that hit here months ago. And occasionally we'll still get a large 5.2, 5.6, 4.5 earthquakes in this same area. But heaven forbid the agency would tell us what exactly is going on. They're just not. They never will. They just never will. I just don't expect it to happen. I don't ever expect it to happen because it has not happened now. It's not happened now. Now, I want to go over here to Western Turkey. These tiny islands just west of Turkey here. These islands belong to Greece. For the most part, they all belong to Greece. They're called the Dokanese Islands. We have 3 earthquakes up and down eastern Turkey there, or western Turkey. Okay? A 2.2, a 2.8, and a 2.0. Okay? Also over in Greece. Yeah, folks, there's Greece for you. They're not telling us anything going on in Greece, are they? Look at this. Look at the earthquakes in Greece. There's 10 of them. 10 of them. Over here on the western end of Crete. The western end of Crete. Crete belongs to Greece. We have a 2.1. Now, I'm not going to show you each and every individual earthquake here. I want to show you what's going on, because there are earthquakes moving, seismic energy moving through the plates. Okay? We talked about seismic energy moving because of the solar flares, the plasma energy. That's just one reason. Okay? Southeastern Greece. Here's another 2.2. That's a 2.2. There's a 2.3. Interesting, because this is also an area near Athens, Greece. 2.5 and 2.6 near Athens, Greece today. Okay? And that's not all. I'm going up here. This is the body of water that divides parts of Greece. Southern Greece from the northern part of Greece. Okay? These are usually 1.0s, 1.7s. This one is a, both of these are 2.1 earthquakes. Both of those are 2.1 earthquakes. We go west. Amphisia, Greece, a 2.0. 2.0. Then we go over to Patras, after the Apostle Peter. Again, I want to remind you that usually we see 1.1s, 1.2s, 1.7s. There's a 3.0 here at Patras today. A 3.0. So the energy is actually greater today than it has been. Because, folks, what is going on? Look at that red line there. That is a fault zone. The fault zone is carrying seismic energy from the east. That earthquake fault is carrying seismic energy from the east, even from Turkey. Okay? I just want to show you this. A lot of people don't get it. They don't understand it because nobody explains it to them. And yet we have people from Greece that watch this program. We have people from Poland and Romania that watch this program. Austria and Switzerland that watch this program. Over here in western Greece, we have two 2.0 earthquakes. Two 2.0 earthquakes here in western Greece. Then, we don't have anything until we get here to Sicily and southern Italy. Sicily and southern Italy. What do you think is going on down there? Okay? This is a 2.3. Look at where it's located. Off the coast of Sicily and Italy right there, isn't it? What do we have there? We have two volcanoes just off the coast, don't we? Mount Etna, that we know is erupting, and Stromboli volcano also erupting. Okay? Over here, in the toe of the boot of Italy, we have a 2.1. So there's plenty of seismic energy here. That energy coming from Italy, or from Greece, is going over there to Italy. See that fault zone? That's what's happening. Now, recently, within the last 2 weeks, in central Italy, we had a 5.1 earthquake, didn't we? We had a 5.1 earthquake right here. We had swarms of earthquakes hitting this area. Now we have one lone earthquake right here. One earthquake. Folks, this is near Campania, Italy. This is a 2.1 earthquake near Campania, Italy. This is the first time in weeks that we've only had one earthquake in this area. Usually we've had pretty good large swarms, 15, 20, 30 earthquakes in this area, and now we have one. So that is a huge difference. Then we don't have anything until we get up here to the border of the Appalachian Mountains here. Appalachian Mountains. Okay? On the northern side of Appalachian Mountains, we have Austria. Here's a 2.7 magnitude earthquake in Austria today. A 2.7. North of there, this is Poland again. This is a 4.0 in Poland. USGS is only showing us this earthquake here, as if nothing else is going on there. Nothing else. Nothing really to see here. Now, over in the Italian Alps, the northern Italian Alps, okay, we have a 2.1 here. A 2.1. Now, folks, I need to tell you something. See all this area here? This is France. Yesterday we've had a lot of earthquakes here in France, all over. There are 5 different earthquakes there in France yesterday. Now we don't have any. Okay? We go down to Spain. We go down to Spain. We have a 2.1 and a 4.1 over here. A 2.1 and a 4.1. 2.1 minor earthquake and a 4.1 moderate earthquake over here in northeastern Spain. Okay? Over the Spain-Portugal border, we have a 2.5 here. Okay? Then we go down to the area just east of the Strait of Gibraltar. Just east of the Strait of Gibraltar. We have some earthquakes here. 2.3 and 2.5 earthquakes right here. Notice also where this earthquake fault is. This earthquake fault comes over from Italy all the way over here. The Western Mediterranean Ocean over here. Then, not just that, there's more. Remember 2 weeks ago we had that big earthquake in Morocco? The earth is still shaking. There's a 2.9 magnitude earthquake, 2.9, 3.0 earthquake here in Morocco today. Okay? It's still shaking there. The people in Morocco are still hurting. The people in Morocco are still hurting. They've lost everything. They pretty much lost everything. I showed you pictures of buildings that had collapsed. People scared to go back into them because the earthquakes still are hitting there. Okay? It's still happening. Just because the agency says it isn't, it's still happening. I want to show you something else here. Iceland. Iceland. USGS showing nothing. On the North Mid-Atlantic Fault just north of Iceland. we have a 2.1. Again, here, we usually have ones here. Now we have a minor 2.1 earthquake over here, just off the coast of Iceland here. Over where the volcanoes are. 2 volcanoes still erupting near Grindavik, Iceland. There's a 2.6 minor earthquake there. And one other earthquake here, it's a 3.1. A 3.1. The volcanoes are still erupting. Notice where these earthquakes are. They're also on the Mid-Atlantic Fault. That Mid-Atlantic Fault, guys, intersects the island nation of Iceland. It literally divides the country of Iceland in two. Okay? USGS not showing any of those earthquakes, are they? No, heaven forbid. Heaven forbid. Oh, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. You see over off of the western shore of Africa, not showing anything in the Canary Islands, but just off the east coast of Tenerife, we have a 2.3. Just off the east coast of Tenerife, we have a 2.3 here, Canary Islands. In the Azore Islands over here near the North Mid-Atlantic Fault. The Azore Islands here. This is a 2.7 minor quake here. 2 others here we need to talk about. One is a 2.0 and this other one's a 2.4. Why are these 3 earthquakes important? Because, folks, guess what we have here? Guess what we have? We have volcano islands here. These islands over here in the Azores are volcanic islands. And the magma is moving around those islands. Why is the USGS not saying anything? Your guess is as good as mine. USGS is not showing anything here. Not anything. I'm sorry, right here. They're not showing anything. And yet, you can see these islands here. They're shaking. They actually evacuated this island here last year because they were having so many earthquakes they thought the volcano was going to go. They evacuated this island here. It's still going, guys. It's still going. Regardless of whether the government agency tells us it is or not, it's still going. Okay? I'm not going to report on everything going on in South America, but look at all these earthquakes. USGS showing us 3. Okay? There are about 18 earthquakes here in South America. USGS showing us 3. Okay? Tarapaca, Chile area here. This is where we've had 5s and we've had 6 earthquakes. South of here, they had an 8.0 here back in 2010. Okay? Just telling you. 2 weeks ago, we had several 5s right here in Colombia. This is Santander, Colombia. Today we have a couple 2s there. South of there, over in Ecuador, we have a 4.3 here. A 4.3 in Ecuador. Kind of not surprising there either. How about Venezuela? A 2.8 over here in Venezuela. Plenty of stuff going on, huh? A bunch. Puerto Rico. A few minutes ago we talked about Puerto Rico, didn't we? An 8.0 and an 8.4 earthquake, two of them hit over in Puerto Rico in 2019. December 26th and December 27th and December 28th, 2019. This is a 3.0 over here in Guanica, Puerto Rico today. A 3.0 magnitude earthquake, an aftershock of those two 8s that hit here. Two major earthquakes that hit here in 2019, and yet 4 years later, we're still getting earthquakes as a result of that. Now, we had a large earthquake over here in the Pacific Ocean. We had a large earthquake over here in the Pacific Ocean right here. This is a 5.4 earthquake off the coast of southern Mexico. A 5.4 large earthquake, 6.2 miles deep, off the coast of southern Mexico. Let me briefly tell you about this. Number one, they're also not showing any other earthquakes here in this region, which is just a barefaced lie. There are other earthquakes here. But this 5.4 earthquake is off the coast of Michoacan, Mexico. Why? Because, folks, where are we here? The Cocos Plate is that earthquake zone that you see right next to Guatemala, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Costa Rica. This earthquake here is a subduction quake. Why? What is going on here? Let me explain this quake. This earthquake, this 5.4 off the coast of Michoacan, Mexico there, it's located atop 3 of the large tectonic plates in this region. Mexico is one of the world's most seismically active regions. That's why we keep getting earthquakes in this area. The relative motion of these crustal plates causes frequent earthquakes and occasional volcanic eruptions. What do we have here? This is a subduction quake. Because the Pacific Plate is subducting under the North American Plate, just north of here, and is subducting underneath the Cocos Plate. Underneath the Cocos Plate. Most of the Mexican landmass is on the westward moving North American Plate, isn't it? Part of the North American Plate. Okay? The Pacific Ocean floor south of Mexico is being carried northeastward by the underlying Cocos Plate. Because oceanic crust is relatively dense, when the ocean floor encounters the lighter continental crust of the Mexican landmass, the ocean floor encounters the lighter continental crust and subducts underneath the larger continental mass. It's subducting beneath the North American Plate. It's creating the deep Middle American Trench. That's what this is. This earthquake is on the deep Middle American Trench along the Mexico's southern coast. As a result of this convergence, this subduction, the westward moving Mexican landmass is slowed and it's crumpling. It's crumpling, creating the mountain ranges of southern Mexico and earthquakes near the Mexico southern coast, We see it happen all the time. As the oceanic crust, the Pacific plate, is pulled downward, it's subducting almost directly down into the center of the Earth. It melts. The Pacific oceanic crust is melting as it is subducting underneath the North American continent. The molten material is then forced upward through weaknesses in the overlying continental crust, and what do we get? Volcanoes. This process has created a region of volcanoes all up and down the coast of Mexico, all the way into the United States, doesn't it? Subduction. You're not going to have volcanoes unless there's some subduction. Okay? I'm just saying. You're not going to have volcanoes unless there's subduction. And this earthquake is a good representative of what's going on. And again, the USGS is not telling us anything going on in Central America or in Mexico at all. Plenty of earthquakes. Plenty. Okay? Over here, Baja California. This is a 2.0 earthquake 30 miles east of Ensenada. 30 miles east of Ensenada. Folks, this is Ensenada right here. That's a 2.0 earthquake northeast of Ensenada, Mexico. Then we go over here into San Diego County. Okay? This is Lake Henshaw, California. Just north of Lake Henshaw. This is the first time we've seen massive swarm of earthquakes just north of Lake Henshaw. Okay? The earthquake I have highlighted here is a 1.3 tremor. Over here to the south, this is also a 1.3 tremor. Okay? Lake Henshaw is just northeast of Escondido, California. Some of my old stomping grounds. I have in fact fished at Lake Henshaw. I pulled plenty of fish out of Lake Henshaw here. We're having a small swarm of earthquakes. What's going to happen? I don't know. When we see swarms of earthquakes, usually that is going to tell us that there's a larger earthquake coming. Could it happen? Yes. Yes, it could. This is the largest swarm of earthquakes I've seen around Lake Henshaw. This is today. See where Lake Henshaw is right here? These earthquakes, they say, are just 2 miles northwest of Lake Henshaw. No, I'm sorry, it's not 2 miles northwest of Lake Henshaw. It's more like 10 miles north of Lake Henshaw. Okay? Just so you know. Then north of there, guess where this is? This is just northeast of Palomar Observatory. Northeast of that beautiful telescope on top of Mount Palomar in northeastern San Diego County. This is a 0.7 microquake. 0.7 microquake. And you can see these other earthquakes over here. These are in the Anza Gap area. The Anza Gap, part of the Anza Borrego Desert State Park. Up here, this is Idlewild. Idlewild is also considered to be in the Anza Gap. This is a 0.5 near Idlewild. This is a 1.0 here. We go north, this is Valley Vista. It's 0.7 microquake. Further northeast, this is Banning, California. A 1.0 earthquake in Banning, a tremor. This is Calamasa. This is a resort area of Calamasa, California. It's also 1.0 here. We go further north, Loma Linda. Loma Linda, What do we know about Loma Linda? We've had small earthquakes. We've had tremors here. This is a 1.0 in southern Loma Linda, California. Loma Linda is home to the Loma Linda Medical Center right up here. Huge medical center here, right there. Okay? But a 1.0 earthquake in the southern part of Loma Linda, California. Now, they're not showing us a bunch of earthquakes here in LA area. They're showing this one here in Home Gardens. Home Gardens, guys, is not a suburb of Los Angeles, but it's an outlying area. Home Gardens, guys, is where we had swarms and swarms of earthquakes prior to the the Ridgecrest earthquake. Swarms and swarms of earthquakes. They have these as a third of a mile deep just east of two different quarries out here in Home Gardens, California. But again, they're not showing us anything here in LA. They're so wrong. I'm going to get into that tomorrow. Over here near Valencia, we have a 0.9 microquake. Ridgecrest up here. Cyril's Valley, Ridgecrest area, it is going. These are 2.0s, 1.5s, 1.9s. This is 0.9. This is a 2.0 here. This is a 1.2 in Ridgecrest. Okay? Going further west. This is Bonefish, California. This is a volcanic region here between the coastline of California and Ridgecrest. Okay? Bonefish is a volcanic area. This whole area is volcanic. North of there is Kernville, California. It's a 1.4 tremor there. Okay? We go down here. Valencia is 0.9. Now I'm going to go up here quickly. I'm not going to spend a great deal of time here because we're running out of time and I have some other things to show you here. Okay? Right here. This is Gilroy, California. This earthquake just happened. It's on the San Andreas Fault here, just east of Monterey Bay. Just east of Monterey Bay. South of there, Tres Pinos with a 2.0 earthquake. Tres Pinos with a 2.0 earthquake. We had a 5.0 earthquake here 4 years ago. South of there, earthquake capital of California, a 1.5 tremor. Parkfield, California, a 1.5 tremor. Let's go north here. Northeast, the Calaveras Fault. Patterson, California, a 1.7 tremor on the Calaveras Fault. We go north over here to the Hayward. Milpitas, California. Milpitas, California. Guess what? We have a swarm of earthquakes here in Milpitas. They're showing us two. There were 5 earthquakes here earlier. This is a 2.0 that I highlighted. This is a 2.3. We had 5 earthquakes here just a couple hours ago. USGS has taken them down. Okay? Small swarm of earthquakes near Milpitas, California. Not to be outdone. We go up north here in the southern part of San Francisco Bay. This is a 2.2 minor earthquake here in San Francisco Bay, near Foster City, California. A 2.2 here. Then we go further north again to the Calaveras Fault. This is a 2.0 earthquake near Black Hawk, California. Black Hawk, California, on the Calaveras Fault. What am I talking about? 3 separate and distinct fault zones in this area. All 3 fault zones are very dangerous. The Calaveras, the Hayward, and the San Andreas here. Okay? We go north. What do we have here? This is not the San Andreas Fault here. This is the geysers. Look at the swarms of earthquakes we get here. Why? Because this is a geothermal area, guys. A geothermal area. Man is drilled into the upper magma chambers of the Clear Lake volcano here to obtain steam to power turbines to generate electricity here in Sonoma, California. This is Sonoma County, California. Geothermal area called the geysers. There are 80 turbines up and down the hills here in the geysers basin here. I shouldn't even call it a basin, but it's a basin of sorts. But there's 80 different turbines in this area, and we usually see anywhere from 20 to 30 earthquakes here every day, and that's what we're seeing here today. Okay, that one I have highlighted is a 1.0 tremor. This is a 1.1 tremor. This is a 0.7 microquake. But all of these earthquakes, tremors, are associated with the geothermal area because man has drilled into the upper magma chambers of that volcano. And when we have seismic energy hitting those man-made earthquake faults, it causes the earth to move. It fractures the rock of those drill points, causing the earth to move. That's what we're seeing here in the geysers today. Okay? Just so you know. We go north. This is nowhere near the Petrolia area. This has nothing to do with the San Andreas Fault. This is a 3.4 earthquake south of Willow, California. This is just north of the Mendocino Fault. The Mendocino Fault is a takeoff of the Gorda Escarpment. The Gorda Escarpment is a fault zone that runs directly west from Petrolia, California. The other fault here runs east from the Gorda Escarpment from the northern coast of California. It's called the Mendocino Ridge, the Mendocino Fault. This earthquake is just north of that fault zone. Okay? Just so you know. We go north again. The Blanco Fracture Zone. This earthquake is a 3.4 magnitude earthquake, a small earthquake in the Cascadia Subduction Zone region. The Cascadia Subduction Zone region. Yesterday, over here on the Juan de Fuca Fault, we had a 4.1. Today, we have this 3.4 here in the Blanco Fracture Zone. Blanco Fracture Zone is that red line there. It's a huge earthquake fault. All part of the Cascadia Subduction Zone region. Earthquakes are hitting the fault zones. Earthquakes are hitting here for a reason. We've told you about this before. One other earthquake here I want to talk about. It's right here. Sultan, Washington. It's a 2.0 earthquake. Just east of the Puget Sound. A 2.0 earthquake just east of the Puget Sound. This area is rocking. USGS is not telling us about it, but it is. They just barely talk about an earthquake here. Now, over here, these earthquakes are in Oklahoma. These are also oil and gas earthquakes, each and every one of them. Oil and gas pumping operations all over this area. There are 586,000 drill points. 586,000 pumps and jacks all over Oklahoma, pulling oil out of the ground. There's even more than that here in Texas, and I'm surprised we don't show any earthquakes here in Texas. That's a huge surprise. Okay? Just so you know. Alaska. We're seeing quite a few earthquakes here. We keep telling you there's going to be earthquakes. Why? 1, subduction. 2, this is a huge earthquake fault zone. Huge earthquake fault zone. Down here, This is near Falls Pass. What is happening just south of Falls Pass? Shishaldin Volcano. Shishaldin Volcano is trying to erupt. It has erupted and it's going to continue to erupt for a while. It's in a episode right now. It is in an episode of eruption. Okay? Went up to 38,000 feet yesterday. And we have this earthquake in Falls Pass. It's a 1.2 tremor. Interesting, huh? You see earthquakes over here in Denali National Park. Just northwest of McKinley, a 1.5 tremor. On the southern side of McKinley, we have a 1.9 here. Fascinating. Two different earthquakes on either side of the mountain. It's happening. It's going. One earthquake over here in northwestern Alaska. This is over in the Arctic Circle. This is in the Arctic Circle. It's a 2.5 earthquake near Ambler, Alaska. 61 miles north of Ambler, Alaska. A-M-B-L-E-R, Alaska. At the Arctic Circle. One other one, also at the Arctic Circle at the Arctic Village. 48 miles northwest of Arctic Village. It's in the Arctic Circle. It's also a 2.0 earthquake. Interesting, huh? Now, folks, I think I've taken you around and shown you what's going on here. Okay? A lot of earthquakes. It's nothing new. This has been happening for quite some time. Happening for quite some time. Now, folks, there's a lot going on. We've been talking to you a lot about earthquakes. We've been talking to you about volcano eruptions last night. This is nothing new. Earthquakes are happening because of tectonic episodes around the planet and because of solar flares pushing that plasma radiation out into space, causing earthquakes because we have faults heating up and earthquakes happening here on Earth. Now, this is emergency preparedness. Menacing Muskrat is asking, can you see Canada? Canada, they're not showing anything because USGS doesn't think it has to report on Canada. I will show you earthquakes in Canada tomorrow. I'll make it a point to show you earthquakes in Canada tomorrow. Now, some of you have been asking me about emergency preparedness kits. I've been telling you a lot about preparedness kits. A lot. So much so that I have taken time today actually, to unpack my 72-hour kit. I unpacked my 72-hour kit. Okay? I took a backpack. Most of you that know me know that I am prepared. I went and took CERT classes a lot of years ago. They gave me a backpack to put stuff in. I did that. I turned this into a 72-hour kit. Clothes and food. Equipment and food. I'm going to show you right now what goes into a 72-hour kit. I'm going to show you things that I put in the 72-hour kit myself. Okay? I need to have you follow this. You need to know about this. Okay? I have been very busy over the years doing this. I've been very busy over the years doing this. This should not surprise you. Okay? That. This is a poncho. That's a poncho. Because I've been fighting fires over the years, I have enclosed in this plastic baggie, this Ziploc baggie, I have what they call a balaclava. A balaclava. This fits over my head and neck. It's fire resistant. It's got a hole for my face here. This whole thing protects my head and my neck and my upper shoulders here from fire. It's fireproof. Yes, it'll get hot, but it won't burn. Okay? You might consider getting a balaclava and putting it in your 72-hour kit. I did because I've been around fighting fires, fighting wildfires. Okay? And yes, there are a few seamounts out there off the coast of California. There are seamounts out there in the southern Pacific. A lot of seamounts. And yes, they are erupting. We talked about one seamount yesterday. I showed you the video of a seamount erupting over in the Mariana Trench. Okay? And that volcano belongs to the United States, by the way. Okay? But just so you know, one of the things that you probably should have is a vest. A safety vest. A safety vest that you can wear out on the street that's going to help protect you from someone that may try to run into you, or it could lead to someone that needs help that you could help them with. So I have packed a safety vest. I actually have 3 of them. I have 3 safety vests. In this 72-hour kit, I have a pair of leather gloves. A pair of leather gloves. You can buy these at Lowe's or Home Depot. They were 3 pair of leather gloves for $5. 3 pair of leather gloves for $5 at Home Depot. Like I said, you can also get these at Lowe's Home Improvement Center. Okay? You need to have at least 1 pair of leather gloves. Right? Okay, yes, I'm a cop. I'm an ex-cop. I've got police caution tape here. I've got a roll of police caution tape. You can only imagine what I would use this for. I think everybody that does anything like I do should have some caution tape of some kind to help rope off an area where you don't want a bunch of people traversing through it, because somebody may have gotten hurt. You don't want people either walking or running through an area where somebody may be laying on the ground hurt. Okay? Or you might have a group of people. Okay? Caution tape can come in handy for almost anything. Okay? Next, I've got a helmet. I've got a helmet. I've got goggles. Beneath those goggles, guess what I have? I've got a light. I've got a light. Folks, it's a good thing to have a light on your helmet or on your head. I highly would recommend that everybody have a headlamp. That way your lamp is on your head. You don't have to hold it to find what you're looking for. Okay? Headlamps are very important. Okay? Headlamps are very important. Now, before I go any further, I have three packages of food. Mountain House food. I put this in my 72-hour kit. Before, I bought 4 Patriots food. Over here, you'll also see a 4 Patriots 72-hour kit of food. You can get almost any kind of freeze-dried food that's available, and it's good for a very long time. This might be something that you might want to have. Mountain House is more expensive than For Patriots. Mountain House is more expensive than most other freeze-dried food. But I got it when I put my 72-hour kit together. And it's good for almost forever. Okay? 72 hours worth of food is absolutely essential for a 72-hour kit. You never know what's going to happen. And these meals will last a lot longer than just one meal. I can cook this up here, and this meal will last me 2 meals. I've done it. It's an awful lot of food. Just so you know. Okay? Now, one of the other things that I have here, and again, you'll see that these things that I have these in small Ziploc baggies. There's a reason. Okay? What is this? I got 2 pieces here. What is this? This is a crayon. It looks like sidewalk chalk. Not this one. This is actually a crayon. I used this when I was diagramming traffic accidents on the ground, showing where a vehicle was or where something else was at the accident scene. You never know when one of these crayons or sidewalk chalk might become very valuable. Consider putting at least 2 or 3 pieces of sidewalk chalk or a large crayon like this in your 72-hour kit. C. Miller is saying Justin Trudeau is much worse than those earthquakes in Canada. Oh, I agree. I could go into that. I could talk about that forever. Something else that you might want to need, especially, you might want to have in your 72-hour kit, especially if you live in the northern climates, places where it gets very cold. This is a reusable hand warmer. A reusable hand warmer. You can put this in some very hot water, and this will turn into a hand warmer for you. You can put it inside your gloves to keep your hands warm. You can put it inside your clothing to warm up your body if you get cold. Okay? Wrap in a cloth and place in a pot of boiling water until the crystals are completely gone. It'll take about 5 to 7, maybe even 10 minutes. And then let it cool off just a little bit before you use it. These are reusable hand warmers. Okay, I got this at Costco. You can get them at almost any place. This you can get also from Emergency Essentials. BePrepared.com. BePrepared.com. Okay. One of the things I got from taking the CERT class. Okay. Remember me telling you about a wrench to turn off your natural gas at your gas meter? This is what this is for. This little notch goes around that small piece of aluminum, and you turn it. You turn it. When the gas is on, the switch will be in upward motion like this. It'll be facing the same direction as the pipe. When you want to turn off the gas, you take this wrench and turn it this way. That will turn off the gas. Do not, once you turn off the gas, do not turn it back on yourself. If you have reason to turn off your gas, that you smell gas leaking, turn it off. Turn it off. There's no problem turning it off. Do not turn it back on yourself. Call the fire department to come out and look around your home. They have devices that smell for gas leaking. Either the fire department will turn your gas back on, or you can get the gas company to turn it back on. Do not do it yourself. This wrench is for you to be able to turn off that gas meter. Okay? You can also use this to break glass. Okay? You can also use this to break glass. It's very efficient in breaking glass. It's got a blade on this end. It's got a hammer kind of blade on the other end. You can do a lot of things with this. This is just a piece of aluminum. Okay, this is an aluminum pipe wrench used to turn off your gas. Okay. I also keep a hatchet in my 72-hour kit. I have always had a hatchet in my 72-hour kit. Now this is a Velcro closure on this hatchet cover. Okay, this is still a very sharp hatchet. I've used it. But I keep this hatchet in my 72-hour kit. Think about it. Think about putting that in yours. Now, I showed you food. I showed you food. In order to cook that food, you need to have a cook kit. You need to have a cook kit. You can buy these cook kits at Walmart. You can get them from beprepared.com, Emergency Essentials. You can get them from REI. I got this particular cook kit from a place called Recreational Outlet. They have several recreational outlets all over Salt Lake County and south of that. Okay, I've got a little aluminum cup here. I have an entire cook kit here. I've got 2 pots. I've got a skillet here. I've got a lid to some of the pots. You can also use this as a bowl. You can use this as a bowl. Okay? That's a pot. Look at this. There's some more bowls, and you can also use these to cook in. I've got 4 of them here. I've got 4 of them. What a deal. Okay? I'm just showing you what your options are. Keep your options open. Keep your options open. Yes, Space Force Owl, a mess kit. I highly recommend that everybody have one of those. I only got it for like $7, $7 or $8. Okay? A mess kit. You can't not go wrong with that. You really can't go wrong with that. Don't forget your metal cup. Okay? And also that metal cup, just to show you, it's on a carabiner. It's on a carabiner. So you can attach this to your belt loop on your pants, whatever. These are great. They're really great. Okay? Now, I told you guys that I used to be an EMT police officer. EMT means Emergency Medical Technician. Okay? So folks, as an EMT, I wanted to have scissors, huh? I wanted to have scissors to cut bandages and things with. Or this could also cut a seatbelt. And yes, I've used it. I also have 2 other pair of medical scissors, medicine bomb scissors. Okay? I've got medicine bomb scissors here. There's another bandage cutting scissor. Okay? These don't cost a lot of money. You can get these from swap meets. Okay? They sold them in San Diego at swap meets. You can get them at railroad shows. Okay? You can use them for different hobbies. Okay? I've done that. Okay? Here is a punch. I need to get into something, that's a punch. Okay? A flashlight. This can fit on your pocket as a flashlight. Okay? Just so you know. And guess what? It has a little pouch here for a buck knife. A buck knife. Just fits in that pouch just like that and close it up. Now, you might say, Ron, where am I going to cut it? Where am I going to put it? Guess what? I can put it on my belt and carry it on my belt. You all know that I still have BDU pants. BDU pants are pants that have pockets on the legs. This fits in one of those pockets, and it's very handy. You put it in that pocket and you're not going to lose any of these. Even if you're running around or bouncing around, you're not going to lose your scissors or anything else. Okay? BDU pants are great for this. Okay? Just so you know. I also have fire starters. Little tablets here. Little tablets here in this container, and I take them out and put them under some tinder, and all of a sudden I have fire. I will always have a hot fire. I always carry fire starters. This is not the only one I have. Okay? Okay? Then, this. I picked this up at a medical convention I went to. Anybody can get these. Okay? All it is styrofoam. Hard styrofoam. What do you imagine I would use this for? What do you imagine I'd use it for? A small child breaks their arm, and I can form this as a splint to hold their arm and their hand close to their body. I can do that with an adult, couldn't I? Absolutely. I could split an entire leg like this. Okay? This is one of the most intelligent devices that I've ever seen. Okay? All it is a SAM splint. It's called a SAM splint. They're not very expensive, $4 or $5, and you can get one of these. On a stream says tinder. Yeah, you put one of those little tablets under some tinder and light that thing, and it'll keep it lit for a long time. And it'll become a very hot fire. Also, one of the things that I found when I took this out from my plastic baggies are flashlight batteries. Not flashlight batteries, flashlight lights, light bulbs for flashlights. This also might be very valuable to you. Okay? You can get light bulbs for maybe $1 a piece, or sometimes 2 of them for $1. Okay? Just so you know. A foldable shovel. A foldable shovel, guys. Look at that. These are slicker than slick. For about $15 you can buy one of these. You used to be able to give them for $7 or $8. I bought this one, it was very inexpensive. You can still get hold of them. Okay? Anytime you can get your hands on leather shoestrings or anything like this, you never know what you can do with a leather shoestring. Okay? Just so you know. I also carry this. This is nothing more than a razor blade knife. A razor blade straight edge. An emergency tool. You do all kinds of stuff with this. You might consider getting one of these straight edges and put it in your emergency kit. Okay? Also, just so you know, I have I have clothing in this bag. A change of clothing. Okay? As a 72-hour kit, I want to have clothing to change into in case the clothing I get or I'm wearing gets wet or dirty or whatever. I've got a change of clothing. Socks, underwear, a shirt, and a pair of pants. Socks, underwear, a t-shirt, a pair of pants will become invaluable. You need to have these. Okay? You need to have them. Now, because I was an EMT, I have a lot of other things having to do with medical situations. You can get this from CERT. Okay? It's a Community Emergency Response Team All-Weather Field Operating Guide. An all-weather field operating guide. And it has all kinds of information here. Okay? All kinds of information here. How to triage someone or groups of people. What you can do to carry them. What you can do to move them. What you can do by not moving them. Okay? Triage procedures. All kinds of stuff here, including hazmat here. All kinds of good stuff in here. This is a very good book if you can get your hands on it. Okay? Covers all kinds of weather and all kinds of other things that could happen and could happen to you. In the back of it, one of the things that's really cool in the back of this is it has an area where you can put notes on, where you can write notes, things that could help you during an emergency. Okay? The other thing I picked up is when I became a wilderness first aid expert. I am a wilderness first aid instructor. I picked up this. This is a wilderness first aid field guide. A wilderness first aid field guide. I'm a wilderness first aid instructor, certified. Okay? Now, during the pandemic, from 2019 to present, we've talked a lot about face coverings. You notice I have a surgical mask. I have two other different surgical masks. And I have an N100. The N100 is a step up from an N95. Okay? Notice it hasn't been used. I'm not going to do that. Medicine Muskrat says, I'm a medic. Do not forget to put in the good book. I agree. I couldn't wholeheartedly agree. It's awesome. For me, guess what I have? I've got one in Swedish. The Swedes gave me this when I was in Sweden. It's the Bible in Swedish. I can still read and understand Swedish. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you all kinds of different bandages. Okay? I'm going to show you all kinds of different bandages. This is a triangular bandage. You can make these out of sheets yourself. Cut up your old sheets that you're not going to use anymore. Wrap them tightly and put them in a small baggie, a Ziploc baggie. You can make your own triangular bandages here. Guess what? Guess what this is? This is also bandage wrap. You can make a compression bandage and then wrap this around it to keep the bandage secure on a person's body, whether it be their head, their arm, a leg, a hand, whatever. These are awesome. Awesome. There's another triangular bandage. I always have 2 or 3 of them in my first aid kit with me. Okay? I also have meds. This happens to be Theraflu. Okay? I've also got some Benadryl in here, and I also have some Tylenol in here. You might consider having meds with you. Okay? Or if you're already taking prescription meds, make sure you have prescription meds with you. My prescription meds are down in my refrigerator right now. They're not in my 72-hour kit. Okay? Also, we talked about hand warmers earlier. Hand warmers. Okay? Look at these. I bought these for 75 cents a piece. These are hand warmers. Each one of these comes 2 to a package. Hand warmers. They're good for up to 10 hours worth of heat. Okay? There's that. Also, when you're doing this, putting together your kit, it's also good to have at least a couple of these around to put stuff in. Whether it's bandages or whatever it is, these Ziploc baggies will be invaluable. Invaluable. Okay? Something else that I picked up from a couple surgeon friends of mine. These are pre-op surgical scrub sponges. Pre-op surgical scrub sponges. They're not expensive. You can get them from medical supply places. I got these from a surgeon friend of mine. Okay? Now, folks, this is a Kerlix bandage roll. I've got Kerlix all over my house. Okay? These are awesome. Catherine Sigurdsson said I used to have maxi pads for compression. Those are awesome as well. Maxi pads are awesome. Hurricane Heather says my allergy to latex is deadly. You don't have to use latex gloves. Use rubber gloves. There's different kinds of gloves that you can buy. Be careful that you don't touch someone else that might be allergic to latex. Be very careful. You touch somebody with your latex gloves on and they start having symptoms of allergic reaction to your latex gloves, you're in trouble. Be very careful. Be very careful. Menacing Muskrat is talking about something that I'm going to talk about in just a couple minutes. More Kerlix, guys. These elastic bandages can be used for so many things. Okay? So many things. Make sure you have sterile pads here to wipe your hands with, to clean up with. These are invaluable as well. Hand sanitizing pads. I've got a lot of those. Okay? Latex and rubber gloves. All kinds of surgical and latex rubber gloves here. Different size bandages. Different size bandages. These are absolutely necessary for your 72-hour kit. Different size bandages. Okay? I also put this in here just for kicks and giggles a long time ago. This is a 34-piece first aid kit. A 34-piece first aid kit. I keep this in my 72-hour kit as well. Last but not least, okay, Vaseline lotion. Vaseline lotion. These are awesome. You're out in the wilderness or out in the boonies or you're out, your hands get all dried out. This will bring your hands back. It'll keep your hands nice and soft. It will also keep you from getting cracks in your hands that turn into a cut, which can cause all kinds of other problems. Okay? Just so you know. Someone says this is a really neat kit. It is. It is. Again, I also have a blood pressure cuff here. I also have a stethoscope. It's absolutely necessary. I don't show it to you because if you don't know how to use them, they are worthless to you. To me, they're invaluable because of my training. I have helped save people's lives with my equipment. Okay? Awaken says add peroxide to your supplies for good antiseptic. Antiseptic, absolutely right. Peroxide is awesome, and yes, I have a bottle of peroxide here. Nathan is asking, how do you get all that in one bag? Very carefully. It's very carefully. Okay? But all this stuff I just showed you was packed inside this backpack. All the medical stuff is here. I keep all my medical stuff in the bottom front part of this backpack. That way I can get at it readily, very quickly. Okay? I keep the medical stuff right here. My little handy dandy manual books here, I put that up here in the top outside part of my backpack here. Okay? That way it's also readily available in case I have to get at it. And yes, this may take a little bit of time to put back together. Nathan Hester says zip ties are also good. Yes, I have zip ties too. Great idea, Nathan. Does anybody have any questions so far on what goes into a 72-hour kit? On stream says, God bless you, Ron, good night. Apparently you're going to bed. That's fine. Okay? That's fine. I only have one more thing I was going to show you here. Okay? I have one more thing I want to show you here before we get out of here. Menacing Muskrat mentioned this just a few minutes ago. And I've talked about it twice in the past week. Okay? On October 4th, and yes, FEMA has been talking about doing this for months now. On October 4th, they're planning for emergency broadcast system test. FEMA is talking about an emergency broadcast test. And yes, I am told now by the people in the know that this test will be around the world. It's not just here in the United States. C. Miller says, I can fix anything with duct tape. I have duct tape here as well. Okay? But FEMA and the Federal Communication Commission have put this alleged test together for October 4th, starting at 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time. Last night, my sister, who had been watching my program, found out what we had been talking about. And I had to explain it to her personally because she doesn't realize what you need to do. My sister's not like me, where I'm thinking on the go. I'm thinking outside of the box. And so I had to explain to her what we were doing here and why I was using aluminum foil and why I was wadding up the aluminum foil. Okay? And why I did not want to smooth that aluminum foil completely out. Okay? Why? Why do you not want to smooth this aluminum foil out? Because see all these ridges here? See all these ridges? This is going to make your Faraday cage for your phone reflect the digital electrical waves away from your phone. This is just like flying a B-2 bomber or a stealth fighter. Those fighter jets have ridges on their planes now where it makes it harder for radar to pick them up. That's what we're doing with your phone. Making it harder for the cell phone signals to get to your phone. We do not want the cell phone signals from the tower to get to your phone. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do prior to 2 o'clock? Do not wait to 2 o'clock. I would ask you to shut off your phone about 1:30. Shut your phone off. Now, given that statement, shutting your phone off, my sister doesn't even realize what's going on. She says, oh, I'm going to take my battery out first. Folks, on these newer phones, you can't take your batteries out. Don't even bother with that. On phones that you can take your batteries out, guess what? The phone, inside your phone, the electrical works inside your phone have a capacitor inside that keeps enough charge on the capacitor to keep this phone working. So yes, they could ping it remotely and it would still pick up a signal, but not if you wrap it in your aluminum foil. Not if you wrap it securely in the aluminum foil. Cover it end to end in the aluminum foil. Don't leave anything out like this. You don't want a hole. If you're going to have a hole, guess what? You're going to want to wrap it another time at least. Wrap it another time at least. So this time, you want to wrap the ends to make sure that your cell phone is not going to have any signals getting into it. Wrap the ends and then wrap it again. Okay, like that. Okay, it doesn't have any way for the signal to get in here. None. No cell phone signal can get in. Now my sister made a statement to me last night. Okay? Can you wrap it more than that? Oh, absolutely you can. You can wrap it even a third time or a fourth. Okay? You can do that. But again, you want to keep this aluminum foil crinkled like this. Okay? So it's going to be like a stealth phone. You're making yourself a Faraday cage. You've heard me talking about Faraday cages in the past. You're making a Faraday cage for your phone. You can do this with almost any other electronic device. If you want to protect it, this is one way to protect it. Okay? Now, yes, I'm unwrapping it because I'm going to use this aluminum foil again on October 4th. Okay? So now I've unwrapped it again. My cell phone's fine. But turn off your cell phone about 1:30 in the afternoon. I would even possibly turn it off at 12 noon. That way you don't forget about it. You give yourself plenty of time to get your phone wrapped up. And do not turn it back on until at least 5 or 6 o'clock that evening. Do not turn it back on till 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. Rob52 says, Ron, tell everyone the reason you need to turn off your phones. I'm going to do that right now. The FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, FEMA, and the rest of the United States government are going to be using audible signals. Audible signals that can activate your phone. Audible signals that could go through your device here and get to your body. The audible signals you can hear, and it will activate your jibby jab that you got, if you got a jibby jab before. You could activate the mRNA in your jibby jab in your body and can kill you. If you do not hear that audio signal, you're not going to have to worry about it. Make sure you unplug your television sets. Unplug your television sets. unplug your radio devices in your home. If you listen to AM or FM weather or radios, if you use AM or FM radios, turn them off and unplug them. That way you're not going to be susceptible to that audio signal that the FCC, FEMA, and the entire government is trying to give you. They're trying to kill you. They are trying to kill you. Okay? Plain and simple. That was the whole premise for them giving us a jibby jab. Okay? That was the whole deal. They put stuff in that jibby jab to kill you. I've seen it happen. Causing strokes and heart attacks. All sorts of stuff. Blood clotting. Autopsies have been done on people that got the jibby jab. And they had an extraordinary number of blood clots in people's bodies. Blood clots that they had never seen before when they did autopsies. Don't let them have a chance to get to you. Turn off your phones. Wrap them in the aluminum foil just like I showed you. That way you're going to protect yourself. Turn off your televisions, turn off your radios, or anything else that could broadcast you the signal. Hurricane Heather says, why was I under the understanding it was for folks that are jabbed? It is primarily for that. But they are going to put out an electronic signal that could kill you. They could do that. Menacing Muskrat says, what about desktops? I'm going to turn off my desktops. I'm going to turn off my Wi-Fi. I'm going to turn off and unplug my Wi-Fi, my routers, everything. Everything. Carl Smith says, I never took it myself. Either did I. But this government doesn't want us to be alive. They have done just about everything to kill us off. They've already killed off hundreds of thousands of people. Plain and simple. We've talked about this before. This organization right here. This organization right here is one of the most dangerous governmental organizations that there are. And they say they are not an agency of the government. No, they're, well, actually, they do. They do say they're an agency of the U.S. government, but they're not. They are not an agency of the government. They're a privately held corporation. Okay? Do not get this. Do not get any of these ever again. Nathan Hester says, I need to wrap foil around my pacemaker on. You might. You might have to, unless you have one implanted in your body, and that might be fine. Okay? Menacing Muskrat is saying, if you don't have the jibby jab, are you okay? I'm not going to take that chance. I'm asking everybody, do not take the chance. I know for a fact what they're doing. Catherine Sigurdsson says, I guess you could make yourself a tinfoil suit. Yeah, I guess you could. But I don't want to make myself a tinfoil suit. Okay? Cassandra's asking, will it be EST, Eastern Standard Time? 2:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's when they are allegedly going to do it. Like I said, I'm going to probably wrap my phone up, turn it off, and wrap it up at about 12 noon. I'm going to unplug and turn off all my electrical devices. so there's no way in heck that they can turn them back on. Okay? This organization right here is also one of the most dangerous organizations in the world. Okay? These people right here. They're causing so much hate and discontent all over the world. Times and Signs has me live on her channel as well. Thank you so much. This organization right here is also one of the most deadly and useless organizations in the world. These people here are trying to take complete power and control over us. Okay? Just so you know. These people here are part of the whole bunch of people that we don't need to be involved with. They are out to ruin families. They are turning our children against us in the schools. They have put educational materials in the schools. They're indoctrinating our kids. Like I said, these organizations that I'm talking about here, I know I'm not going to say their names, because I don't want to be kicked off the air. Some of the most dangerous organizations in the world. I'm telling you that. Okay? One of the other organizations here in the United States is this one. Okay? This one is the organization where Fauci was the chairman and CEO of this organization here. Fauci is worthless. He should be in jail. There are so many crimes that he's committed against humanity and everything else, he should be in jail. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. This organization here as well. Okay? Fauci had his hands in this as well. Okay? If you know what's good for you, you will take care of yourself this next week when they do this. Okay? I don't wish any harm on anybody. Hurricane Heather says 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. Pacific time. I've been told, okay, and I just found this out. Again, notice what I'm wearing. I had a meeting earlier. My meeting was with people in the government. They're telling me that they may do it at 2:20 Pacific time, 2:20 Eastern time, 2:20 Mountain time. I would have everything ready myself at 2:20 Eastern time, no matter what time zone you're in. On the Pacific coast, you are 3 hours behind me. So if this happens at 2:20 p.m. Eastern time, make sure you have your devices off and wrapped well before that. Well before that. And keep them wrapped up and turned off until 4 or 5 o'clock your time. Hurricane Heather says she's going in the dark after midnight on the 3rd. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Okay? Does anybody have any questions? I know I've talked a lot about a lot of things. And now we're pushing 2 hours. Okay? Susie Fujinagi, you don't have to wrap up your neck. There's no reason for that. Okay? If you're going to need light, You've got candles. I don't recommend using candles. Using flashlights. Nathan Hester says foil in windows? Not this time. I don't believe foil in windows is absolutely necessary. That could be necessary in a different time in another way. And Al is asking, will we know if they were successful? I'm sure there are people that are part of the Democrat Communist Party that have succumbed to the Democrat Communist Party rules, laws, and regulations that they put into force, that don't believe in anybody like me who's more conservative. But guess what? I don't trust those liberals. I never have and never will. Don't do it. Don't make yourself a party to these liberals. They will kill you. Menacing Muskrat is asking, is this done by Lucifer? Oh, I would better believe that. I believe that, yes. Hurricane Heather says, and Al will know because of the people that are unaware of this event. That's very possible. Don't take the chance. Nathan Hester says, Ron, if I may ask one more question, do we need to wrap our ham radios? It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea unless you have a great big huge base station ham radio. You're probably not going to be able to wrap it. Okay? I'm just saying. I know for a fact they're going to try to push it out the computer. So my computer is going to be off and wrapped. Unplugged and wrapped. Okay? I'm not going to allow them to turn on my computers. Yes, I do have a desktop. It'll be unwrapped, but it'll also be unplugged and turned off. Okay? Rob says, so Ron, next Thursday, no program? I think we're going to go on the air next Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Oh, hold it. Back that up. Yeah, probably not a good idea. I just thought about that. Probably not a good idea to have a program on Thursday unless possibly I come on the air at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. And that way you guys might be able to also be on the air. I just don't like doing programs that late. Yes, I've done it. I have come on the air during emergencies late at night. I've done that. But only during an emergency. Maybe we should come on the air and do a quick update on Friday morning. Maybe that's an idea this next Friday. Not this coming Friday, but next week. Okay? So no program on Thursday evening. Please pass that information along. No program a week from Thursday, October 4th. Any other questions? Any other questions? Now, I should have told my sister, well, I did tell her. I did tell her I was going to talk about this today. And she can probably pull this program up and get information off this program when she gets home later tonight or tomorrow. Tony's asking, just got here, can you do a quick recap? Tony, we talked about earthquakes around the world. We talked about earthquakes in the Pacific Northwest. We talked about earthquakes in the Pacific time zone, in California as well, in Mexico, South America, in the islands of the Pacific. We talked about it. We talked about earthquakes worldwide. I also showed you on this program a 72-hour kit, which you should have in your 72-hour kit. Your 72-hour kit is nothing but an emergency preparedness kit. Okay? An emergency preparedness kit. Holly says her cat is microchipped. What about her? I don't know. My dogs are also microchipped around their necks, the back of their necks. I don't know. Highway Runner says unhook everything that is electrical or computerized. Absolutely. Turn it off and unhook it from all electrical outlets. Don't let them have that chance of turning it back on. Catherine Sigurdsson says we can use that day to see how strong-willed we are. Don't give in. We can do this. It's only one day. The problem is if it doesn't work on October 4th. If they have a problem, they're saying they're going to do it on October 11th. Can we trust them? I don't know. That I don't know. I don't trust the government. I don't trust the government, and neither should you. Ronald Reagan said it this way: if the government comes a knocking, saying that they're to help, that they are there to help, no, they're not. Shut the door and lock it. Shut the door and lock it. There is no way the government is there to help, period. They didn't do it in Hawaii. They haven't done it over in New Orleans, where I was. They went and tried to help people after Hurricane Sandy in New York. A friend of mine was there, and he was helping people. He was actually knocking on the doors and helping them get information, pull information together so they could get some money. He did that out of the goodness of his heart. But basically, if the government comes a knocking, walk away. Nathan Hester says, where can I buy a foil suit by then? Good luck, Nathan. I don't think you need a foil suit. I just don't. But if you've been jibby-jabbed, as some people have, I think you're in danger. And I know there are friends of mine in danger. I know that. But please also know how much I love you and I care about you. I will never let a day go by without telling you that. Okay? Space Force Alice is New Orleans having salt water in their drinking water. Not necessarily. They have desalination units in New Orleans. They have them in Hawaii. They got them in San Diego. They have them all over the place. But Menacing Muskrat just said it here. It's a good idea to stock up on water, food, gas, and cash. I passed a couple gas stations here on my roaming round early this morning. Guess what? Gas prices have skyrocketed to $3.59 a gallon here. I know in California it's up over $7 a gallon, and various other places as well. $4 or $5 a gallon in Utah and various other places. I understand that. And in Canada, it's well past that. But gas prices are going through the roof. Holly Flowers says, do the cops know about this? Some cops do, and some cops do not. I pray that those cops that do not are not jibby-jabbed. Just saying. Ginger Gal says, yes, news reports about salt water leaking into the drinking water. That figures. And if salt water's leaking into the drinking water, what else are they leaking? Just saying. Again, I don't trust the government. I just don't. I used to work for the government, and I learned, as my fellow police officers that work for the government did, we learned not to trust them. We learned that. Nathan Hester says, I got it run. I can take windshield visors and make my foil suit. Okay, whatever you can do. Holly Flowers asking, what about my microchip kittens? I don't know. My dogs are also chipped. I don't know. All I'm asking is you all to be careful. Okay? Just be careful. One other thing before I leave tonight. If you are on SSDI or SSI or Social Security, or you have retired money in banks, be careful. Starting this weekend, if the United States closes down, your money is going to be in jeopardy. You may not be able to get your money out. You may not get a government check come September 3rd. You won't be able to pay your rent or your house payment. You won't be able to pay your bills. And you won't be able to buy groceries. Like I've been telling everybody, you need to be prepared. You need to be prepared. You need to be prepared. You need to start getting serious about this. Guys, I don't know how many times I've told you over the past years. 4.5 years we've been talking about this. 4.5 years. And still there are people that are saying, oh, Ron, it's not going to happen. Even my crazy sister told me that a year or two ago, or 3 years ago, or 4 years ago. She told me that. Oh, Ron, that's not going to happen. Guess what? It's going to happen now. And she's coming to me saying, Ron, I need help. Catherine Sigerson said, I heard Berkey doesn't do exactly what it claims to do. Just know that. Folks, someone also said this past week that the government is forcing Berkey out of business, shutting Berkey down. I don't have anything, and I've not heard anything about that, except here on this channel. I will try to get more information about Berkey, because I do like Berkey water filters. They've been very good. Aubrey says she's losing sleep over this. Aubrey, don't lose sleep over it. If you've been preparing in any way, shape, or form, and been doing anything that we've been advising you to do, you're going to be better off than 95% of the rest of the population. Don't lose sleep over this. It's not worth it. Okay? It's not worth losing sleep over. Hurricane Heather says, I've got to go walk my puppy, so do I. Folks, before I leave here, before I shut this thing down, I want to leave you with a note here from the scriptures, from the Old Testament. This is coming from Deuteronomy 5. Deuteronomy 5, chapter 5, verses 31 and 32 and 33. But as for thee, stand thou here by me, and I will speak unto thee all the commandments, and the statutes, and the judgments, which thou shalt teach them. Who is the Lord talking to? The Lord is talking to Moses. But as for thee, stand thou here by me, and I will speak unto thee all the commandments, and the statutes, and the judgments which thou shalt teach them, the children of Israel, that they may do them in the land which I give them to possess it. Ye shall observe to do therefore as the Lord your God hath commanded you. Ye shall not turn aside to the right hand or to the left. Ye shall walk in all the ways which the Lord your God hath commanded you, that ye may live, that it may be well with you, and that ye may prolong your days in the land which ye shall possess. It's plain and simple there, brothers and sisters. It's plain and simple. Yes, the Lord talked to Moses and to the children of Israel. We should liken the scriptures unto us. Liken the scriptures unto us. The scriptures are here for us in our day. Pay attention. Pay attention. Obey the commandments. Obey the commandments. Holly Flowers is asking, should I take the flu shots? No. Do not take another vaccine, period. They are lacing vaccines with that terrible mRNA. Don't do it. Don't do it. If you want to survive what's going on, you need to start paying attention to what I've been teaching you all these years. You need to pay attention. Yes, I appreciate everybody that's here talking to each other and socializing with each other. That's fine. But when it comes down to the brass tacks, when I'm trying to teach you important principles here, you all need to start paying attention. Your lives may depend on it. Your lives may depend on it. Now, I'm not some conservative wacko out there. I'm not some wacko out there that's telling you to do something you shouldn't do. I'm not that kind of person. I'm just telling you common sense ideas, common sense principles that may save your life. Okay? I'm just telling you. Those people in chat that see what Cowboy Roy Rogers just put up, I can't repeat that on the air. But you need to take heed to what he's talking about here. Keep your ears open, your eyes wide open. Do not fall for the BS from Biden or his henchmen, for lack of a better word. We are a team here. Please, folks, please pass this information on to everyone. And I mean everyone that you come in contact with. Tell them about this program. Ask them to subscribe to this program. Tell them how to subscribe, and also tell them or show them how to get notified when we come on the air by clicking on that little tiny bell icon and then clicking on the word ALL. Teach them. Everybody needs this program. Your friends, your neighbors, your family, your extended family, your social media contacts, and even the people you work with. Everybody needs what we've been talking about. Please share this program far and wide. Make sure you still subscribe to this channel. 25% of the people that watch this channel are not subscribed. Please make sure you still subscribe to this channel. They keep unsubscribing people as well. Okay? Please do it. Please do it. Catherine Sigurdsson says on the 5th we can share our stories. Absolutely. Maybe that's what we need to do on the 5th. Because I'm sure I'm not going to be on the air on the 4th. No way. Because that would put the rest of you in danger, and I'm not going to do that. Okay? Guys, I love you. I care about you. Follow what the Lord has told you there in Deuteronomy chapter 5. The last 3 verses of chapter 5. That's why I picked that scripture. It's easy. It's easy to remember. May God bless you. Whatever it takes, God be with you. Always. May God be with you until we meet again. That's been my prayer. It always will be. May God be with you till we meet again. We will see you on the other side. Good night, everybody. Be there. Don't be square.